Hi, my name's Nick Lloyd and I do Spanish Civil War tours in Barcelona, and I'm the author of this book, Barcelona and the Spanish Civil War, Forgotten Places. And today I've been doing a series of talks, this is the fifth one, about different stories connected with the war, and today I want to talk about something a little bit unpleasant, a bit gross, about lice. Lice was something which dominated the thoughts of troops on both sides. It appears frequently in the memories, the memoirs, the stories people wrote after the war. It affected phalangists, Carlist priests, Basque nationalists, anarchists, Polish international brigaders, Asturian miners, Jewish guys from Brooklyn, monarchists. They were all eaten by lice. And I have here some lice. My partner Monica collected these from, you probably can't see them, from the head of our lovely daughter Iona, who's only 2. But there are actually 3 types of lice that live on humans, exclusively on humans. There's these, which are head lice, which are called Pediculus humanus capitis. And then we have the pubic lice, the crabs, and the most horrible of all, by a long way, Pediculus humanus corporis, the body louse, which are different from the hair lice, which our children, or my children anyway, get all the time. The research suggests that the body lice and the hair louse separated around about 100,000 years ago. They are different species. They occupy a different ecological niche and have, as you can see here, a different appearance. This is the 3 lice. And the big fat one in the middle is what we're talking about, the body louse. The body louse, piojo corporal in Spanish, it's, in a sense, it's a bad name, because more than living in the body, they live in the seams of our clothes, which brings us on to how they diverged 100,000 years ago, because this fits in quite nicely with the invention or the adoption of clothing by humans, fur or mammoth skins or whatever, to keep warm. And this is where they live in the seams, and they're incredibly difficult to get rid of. And the real problem though with body lice, unlike the other forms of lice, is they're associated with disease, trench fever, and above all, typhus. Typhus is one of the great killers of world history. It has decided the fate of battles, of regimes, even perhaps civilizations. I mean, the figures are quite striking. Napoleon's retreat from Russia, far more were killed by typhus, i.e. tiny little body lice, than by Russian troops. In the First World War, it's 3 million Russians died during the First World War and the immediate aftermath of body lice. Of typhus, which led Lenin to say in 1919, either socialism defeats the louse or the louse defeats socialism. I mean, also in the First World War, 150,000 died in the Serbian army of typhus. It's just, the statistics are, the numbers are just on and on and on. As far as the Spanish Civil War is concerned, huge problem. And just a couple of quotes, or 3 quotes. In fact, a young guy called Joaquim Oller Villadrosa, 17-year-old from Barcelona, I think, who was called up at 17 years old on the Republican side to fight in the Battle of the Ebro. And he talks about the body lice, and he said, you'd wake up with your fingernails impregnated with the blood from the lice. And you'd just pop them as you slept. And another one by an American brigadier called Jack Freeman, who was fought in Spain. And he wrote a letter back home on the 29th of June 1938, and he said, the lice, thriving on the rich sweat, grow fat and bloated like well-fed pigs as they dig fortifications into your skin. And perhaps the most famous quote of all of this was, unsurprisingly, Orwell. Of course, he had something to say about lice. Of course he did. This is some of you have seen this before, my terribly battered copy of Homage Catalunya. And he said he was on the Aragon front, and this is, as the temperatures are warming up, the lice are warming up too. And he says, all of us were lousy by this time. Though still cold, it was warm enough for that. I have had a big experience of body vermin of various kinds, and for sheer beastliness, the louse beats everything I've encountered. Other insects, they can make you suffer more, but at least they aren't resident vermin. The human louse somewhat resembles a tiny lobster, and he lives chiefly in your trousers. Short of burning all of your clothes, there is no known way of getting rid of him. Down the seams of your trousers he lays his glittering white eggs like tiny grains of rice, which hatch out and breed families of their own at horrible speed. I think the pacifists might find it helpful to illustrate their pamphlets with enlarged photographs of lice. Glories of war indeed. In war, all soldiers are lousy, at least when it is warm enough. The men who fought at Verdun, at Waterloo, at Flodden, at Senlac, every one of them had lice crawling over his testicles. We kept the brutes down to some extent by burning out their eggs and by bathing as often as we could face it. Nothing short of lice could have ever driven me into that ice cold water. And after the war, there was also a terrible outbreak of typhus in Spain, in the poverty-stricken, corrupt country that the 1940s was. After that, a combination of vaccines and DDT reduced massively the presence of human lice and typhus. That said, it is still an animal which still thrives, and it's an animal we today associate with exile. It's present in the Syrian refugee camps and in civil wars in Africa. It is the lice associated today with poverty and war. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. That's the 5th talk, and hopefully there'll be another one soon. And if you are interested, that's my guidebook, history book to Barcelona and the Civil War. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.